When doing keyword research for Amazon FBA listings, it's very difficult to find keywords that are easy to rank for, but not too competitive. And that's where you might want to look at long tail keywords. These keywords are usually longer and more specific than the most popular ones, which is everybody's using, meaning that when you will target those keywords, you will likely have less competition. And even though they get less search traffic, adding long tail keywords to your listing is beneficial since they usually have good conversion rates. In this video, an Amazon copywriter, Emma Schermer-Tamir, will introduce us how to select the best long tail keywords and what's the main strategy of adding such keywords to the product listing to make the product copy look great not only for Amazon algorithm, but also for the Amazon buyers. And this is what you want. You want more sales. And below in the description, you will find the link to Emma's website. So if you need help with a copy of your Amazon product listing, you can contact her and she will help. And don't forget to mention Orange Click or this video. Also, this video is hosted by Lisette Lees. She works with different Amazon brands. And as always, if you like what we do, don't forget to click like button below the video and subscribe to our channel.
Hi Emma, I'm very happy to have you here on Orange Click channel today. So before we go to your today's presentation, could you please introduce yourself and tell us what you do in Amazon space?
Yeah, I'm so excited to be back here. My name is Emma Schermer-Tamir. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Marketing by Emma. We are a conversion spiking e-commerce copywriting firm. So we specialize in things like Amazon listings, website copy, and any of those core texts that are going to communicate who you are as a brand, what makes you so great, and why people should buy your products.
And that's exactly the reason why we have you here today with us, because today's topic is about how to add keywords to the product listing. So I think you're the very right person to have the discussion with. So I know you have prepared some slides for us as well to better explain the process and how to make the decision about the keywords. So go ahead, share your screen and let's see what you have for us.
So here's my little intro, which we don't really need to spend much time on, but that gentleman to the left of me is my husband and business partner, Erez. So if you ever interact with us, there's a high likelihood that you'll talk with him at some point. So when we kind of started planning this video, we didn't want to just talk about any old keyword. We wanted to talk specifically about long tail keywords and how to use those in your listing, because there's so much value held in knowing how to work with these types of more specific keywords. But I think it's important to really take a step back and establish what is a long tail keyword to begin with, because you might hear all these kinds of terms and it's easy to sort of be like, oh yeah, I think I get that, but you're not 100% sure. There isn't a formal definition as far as a long tail keyword is always X amount of words or more, but it's typically going to be 3+ word phrases that will have higher specificity and a stronger relevance to what it is that you're trying to target with your SEO objectives. And why long tail keywords are so valuable is because since they are more specific, while there might not be as much search volume, they also present better opportunities to be competitive and to be able to make traction in a way that a really general keyword could be impossible. The other thing that I think is really helpful to actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. So here's a little quote when I was trying to research this topic and just get a bit more information. I think this is a fantastic quote from Yoast, which, they're one of the SEO experts on the internet. So long tail keywords are keywords or phrases that are more specific and usually longer than more commonly used keywords. Long tail keywords get less search traffic, but will usually have a higher conversion value as they are more specific. And that's really where the value lies, what it's saying there is that people have a higher likelihood of finding the thing that they're truly looking for if they're using a longer tail keyword for that search. And so if somebody's looking for, let's say, a sleeping bag, and they just type sleeping bag, well, they might need a sleeping bag to go kayaking in Costa Rica, or they might need a sleeping bag for mountain climbing in Nepal. And those are going to be two very different types of keyword or of products that they are looking for. And so if that person that's going to Costa Rica is actually going to be searching warm weather, lightweight sleeping bag, then they're more likely to find a sleeping bag that's truly fitting their needs than if they're needing to comb through many, many, many different types of weights and purposes of sleeping bags like they would for that more general, shorter tail keyword. So the example that I'm going to be walking us through today is for wrinkle patches. So these are something that you would put on your face to diminish the appearance of wrinkles and fine lines. So someone's searching wrinkle patches into Amazon, and you see that Amazon just naturally, as part of its search function, is already helping match people with longer tail phrases that are going to be more specific for them. So you see when you type in wrinkle patches into Amazon, you're seeing some of the top long tail keywords that people are searching. So wrinkle patches for face overnight, wrinkle patches reusable, wrinkle patches frownies, which frownies is a brand that we're actually going to be really diving into today. So Amazon, I think, also understands the value of these more specific types of searches and is using these types of keywords to help match people with a product that is going to be more likely to align with what they're trying to buy, so they can make that purchase easy, seamless, and quick. So we've decided that we want to go after wrinkle patches. And the first thing that you need to do when you're talking about working with keywords is you need to do keyword research. So I went to Helium 10 and I believe I used Magnet for this to just search wrinkle patches. So Magnet is going to get me a lot of different keywords that relate to that base short-term keyword. So if we're going through here, we haven't dug into the product in too much detail, but I have, and I've quickly eliminated a lot of these keywords from what I want to be focusing on for a number of reasons, but primarily because of relevancy. If you look at here, all of the gray keywords are keywords that are not accurate descriptions of the product that we're going to be talking about in question, or they are competitors' brand names that we want to be really careful about, because you could run into issues if you are using other brand names in your own listing. So some examples of that would be wrinkles, schminkles, which is sort of a funny keyword, Dermora, ROC or rock. So those are just a few of those that are in there. So what I've highlighted here are keywords that are relevant to this product in particular. And so we have quite a few here, but what you'll see is, like, for example, now frownies, forehead in between eyes, period, 144, that is a branded keyword for this product. So of course that's a no-brainer. That's a fantastic keyword. You see how much search volume is there and how few competitors are there. Forehead patches for wrinkles isn't quite as competitive, but in comparison to a lot of other keywords out there, it's still really great. There are only 353 other competing products on that particular term. And so that's what you're seeing here as we go through all these things. Crow's feet eye treatment, only 146. So there are a lot of these keywords that are really valuable keywords to incorporate into this product listing, particularly if this is a new product launch where you don't have that same rank, that same buyers searching for your product. There's really a great way to kind of get your foot in the door without having to invest lots and lots of money in really aggressive marketing and advertising campaigns just to make a little bit of traction on some of those more general cosmetic related search terms. So keywords are the skeleton of what you're doing. And I really want you to take this skeleton metaphor to heart, because what is a skeleton? It provides structure to what you're doing, but it is not visible. If you can see someone's bones, they have a problem and they should probably go to the hospital. So the keywords are the same. They should be there. They are a really essential part of creating an optimized listing, but they shouldn't be there in a way that's going to distract or take away from the content, because the customer still needs to be able to read your listing quickly and easily to understand this product and determine whether it's going to be a good fit for them or not. So here are some key questions for keyword selection. First of all, is it relevant? So the relevancy we've already established, and we've already kind of eliminated those and made a shorter list here. Now, this is probably a shorter list than what you would ideally want to be working with if you are optimizing your listing, but I didn't want to kind of have a huge list for us to wrinkle. So this is just an example of some of the words that you might want to be working with. Does it fit? So that's where we're getting into not so much if it is relevant to the product, but is this something that makes sense for a customer to see? Is it something that you can fit into a sentence that will make logical sense? So right off the bat, if we look at that top phrase, Frowny's forehead and between eyes, period, 144 patches, that's going to be very difficult to work into a sentence in a way that's going to make logical sense. And so if it really can't fit, that's okay. You can either break it up into pieces and use those pieces of that keyword, or if it's really important to you to preserve the entirety of the phrase, then you can put it in your backend search term. So you have spaces that the customer doesn't have to see. And so take advantage of that for those terms that might be more challenging to work into the listing copy. Would someone searching that word want your product? So we've established relevancy, which that's a very similar question, but we also want to make sure that any of these keywords, that if somebody is going to Amazon, typing those keywords in, it's not just relevant, but there is buyer intent there. This is something that if someone's searching those keywords, then they would be excited to potentially use this product. So some of those keywords that we eliminated were somewhat relevant. Like if we're talking about under eye patches, those are also anti-aging cosmetic treatments that you can buy. However, those are for things like under eye circles and bags, and they're also designed for the really delicate skin that's underneath your eyes. And so if somebody's truly looking for those, then for them to come across a stickier patch that isn't designed for that sensitive skin, then it's going to create a mismatch there. And so even if they were to buy it, it's actually more likely that they would buy it with the expectation that they could use it for something else. And so then you're creating a mismatch of expectations and a potential for that customer to be dissatisfied with the experience, have a negative use for it, send it back, write a negative review. You want to avoid those things as much as possible. And can you make it work in a sentence without impacting readability, comprehension, et cetera? So we've already kind of spoken about what that means as well. So this is kind of that extra reading that you want to take to your keyword list after you've done that initial sort of analysis of all of your keywords. So this is that same list that we were just looking at. And now I wanted to show you some examples of how you could work with these keywords. So wherever you see the highlights are where I've included the keyword into the sentence. And what you'll see here is that I'm using them in a variety of different ways. One thing that I actually want to direct you to first is actually farther down on the page. And that is the third and second from the bottom, Frowny's facial patches for wrinkles and facial patches for wrinkles. To me, this is an example of why long tail keywords are particularly exciting, is because it's not only that they're less competitive and easier to be able to rank for, but typically you're also going to find that they hold more keyword phrases within them. So within Frowny's facial patches for wrinkles, I also have facial patches for wrinkles. And it's possible that people are also searching for patches for wrinkles or Frowny's facial patches. And so it's very possible that within these 5 words, I could be covering 3, 4, 5 different phrases and I only have to focus on fitting one of them into the copy. And so when we're doing our keyword organization after we've done the initial research and analysis for our own clients, what we'll do is we'll actually run a search and see where are keywords embedded in other keywords. And then we know to focus on those particular longer tail keywords because we're going to get a 2-for-1, a 3-for-1 or more, and really be able to take advantage of the space we have without getting overly wordy and potentially, creating a listing that just looks like a string of keywords or lots of sentences that are just repeating the same thing over and over and over again. And so if you're really trying to make a compact bullet that's around 200 characters or so, or a title that is going to have a lot of keywords, but also read in a really smooth way, this is one of those tools that you can use to make that happen while still covering a lot of SEO ground. So here are some other examples of how I've fit these keywords into just a sentence. So I think it can be helpful sometimes when you're trying to figure out what this can look like. It can be a little bit confusing at times. Like I think one in particular that had me puzzled for a bit was the third keyword, wrinkle patches for face overnight. That's one of those keywords where when you first look at it, you think, this is going to be really tricky to put into a sentence. Like that's just awkward and weird. And so it's almost like a puzzle or a reverse Mad Libs or something. So I'm thinking like, how can I wrinkle patches for face overnight? Okay. What can I add something to the beginning of that then would give me a continuation on the end? Because I know that the sentence can't end at overnight. There needs to be a continuation there. So what I came up with is sleep with frownies, wrinkle patches for face overnight to instantly reveal a younger looking you. The sentence is still a tiny bit awkward. It's not exactly how I would word it, but it is close enough that it's not going to read in such an uncomfortable way that would make customers feel off-put. And then I am able to get this keyword that has almost 2,500 searches. So that's a valuable keyword there, and fitting it into a sentence in a pretty streamlined way. So another one would be get effortless, pain-free results with this non-invasive crow's feet eye treatment. And so that's really what you're wanting to do is you're wanting to think about where can this fit into a sentence and how can I use that in an effective way? Another trick that a lot of our writers use when they're writing listings is rather than having to work with a really, really long list of keywords and then every single time they need a keyword, go and search for it, they've nicknamed it the pick and commit strategy, which is they'll go through and they'll say, okay, these are the two keywords I'm going to use for bullet 1. These are the keywords I'm going to use for bullet 2. And so then it's less about how can I find more ways to use keywords, but how can I achieve the goal of this particular bullet and still make sure that I'm using these keywords that I know are important for this particular product. The other thing that is really helpful for achieving is you'll see when you're working with keywords that a lot of them have very similar types of words. And so you want to make sure that you're varying how those are used so that you don't have a sentence that's forehead patches for wrinkles. And then in the next the next sentence, frownies, facial patches for wrinkles. It's a little bit kind of cumbersome and awkward. And so it would be better to maybe use forehead patches for wrinkles in the first bullet, and then in the fourth bullet, perhaps using frownies, facial patches for wrinkles. So it's not just having the same kind of base phrase over and over and over again. And you'll see that a lot in titles where you might have frownies, forehead, and between eye patches, forehead patches for wrinkles, wrinkle patches for face overnight. And it really does look like a string of keywords. And I know the temptation is there when you're putting together a title, because you see all these keywords, you imagine that every single one of those searches is a customer that's eager to buy your product. And so you just want to include as many as possible. And I totally understand that. However, if you are not also thinking about the customer experience, then you're going to be turning a lot of people away who either feel confused, who feel off-put, or who just aren't certain about the basic details of your product to feel confident enough to make a decision.
All right, thank you so much, Emma. It was really interesting to listen how to select long tail keywords and also how to add them to the listing. So my first question is, should sellers repeat the same long tail keyword across like multiple places in their product listing, or shouldn't they really?
There's no need to repeat. In fact, what's interesting about Amazon's algorithm is it's not as sort of simple as just saying, if a keyword is here in its entirety, then it will get indexed. And if not, not. Because if you look at any really successful listing and you do a reverse ASIN search on it, it's going to be indexing for thousands of keywords, and they don't have thousands of keywords in their listing. And so Amazon is very sophisticated, and it understands how to compensate for things like misspellings or singular and plural and things like that. And so it's not only that you don't need to be repeating the same keyword over and over again, but you don't necessarily need to have every single keyword there in order to get the benefit of being able to index and rank for things, particularly because the algorithm is also factoring in things like if customers are converting on those keywords and how your seller's account health is. So, like, are you delivering what you say you're delivering? Are people keeping the product, or are they buying it and then returning it? Because that's signaling to Amazon, oh, we have a mismatch of expectations here. They're perhaps not describing their product accurately. And as a result, people are not happy. And Amazon puts the customer first always. And so it's really important that you as sellers are doing the same so that you can align with Amazon's expectations. And in doing that, you'll be able to be far more successful.
Okay, very good. So you mentioned about writing titles, and as we all know, sellers do have limited space for writing the titles and adding in the phrases. So do you have any good tips how to make the titles look good, but still add a proper amount of keywords as well?
Yeah, so I like to separate titles with, they're called N dashes. So they're a medium length dash. So they're not a hyphen and they're not like the really long ones. To me, that's kind of the perfect length to create a visual separation between phrases. And when you do that, you're able to kind of lump together similar types of information. And so every single section of information, you can cover one or two keywords. And again, when we're talking about these long tail keywords, that's where there is so much value as well, because you're able to really knock out 2 or 3 keywords just with one phrase. And so by finding those keywords to use for your title, you'll be able to make sure that your title is highly relevant to your product and the customers that are wanting your product, while also covering a lot of SEO ground.
Okay, so it really means it's worth working on the long tail keywords, because actually they do help according to the fact that we do have just a few places to put in like all the words and everything we want to communicate to the customers. Really nice.
Yeah, I mean, so in kind of the same category as this product that we were just looking at, let's think of eye masks. So, we talked about those briefly, the under eye masks that you can put on for bags and lines and everything. Well, eye mask, if you look at the search results for eye mask, you'll be like, whoa, tons of people are searching for eye masks. That's amazing. That needs to be my target keyword. But wait a second. Eye masks can also be the mask that you put over your eyes when you're traveling or needing to sleep in the middle of the day. And so we actually have 2 very different types of products that fall under eye mask. And so if you're putting too much effort on iMask, maybe you're getting a lot of traffic or a lot of impressions if we're talking, even off Amazon. However, how much of that is actually wanting your under eye mask versus your, sleeping mask? And furthermore, under eye masks have different functions. So some are for hydration and maybe more for people that were out all night partying and they're in their 20s and they're not worried about wrinkles yet. And others are for people that, they know that they can't stop the aging because the aging has already happened. So it's really more about just keeping things looking as youthful as possible, but also understanding that time does what it will do. And so those are going to be two different types of shoppers. And so the more you can kind of be analytical and honest about what keywords to target, the better job you'll do at getting in front of the right customers and really making sure that you're also spending your money on the right kind of traffic.
Okay, what an eye-opening example. I think it was really good and really shortly described what could be the situation, especially for new sellers and for people who haven't dive into keyword research much yet. So yeah, that was a really nice one. So thanks again for explaining us about long tail keywords and about how to integrate them to product listings. So if anybody would like to know more about what you offer to Amazon sellers, then what's the best way to reach out to you? And could you once more explain what type of services do you offer to Amazon sellers?
Yeah, so I'm going to just share my screen once more. We are also happy to offer a free listing analysis. So I know a lot of this can feel a little bit overwhelming, or maybe you've gotten to the end of this conversation and you're like, I do all of this. I'm the best. And you just want someone else to be like, you're rocking it. You're awesome. Go focus on all the other ways that you can grow your brand. We're happy to take a look at that and give you a virtual star of approval. If you go to marketingbyemma.com/okay, or just scan this QR code, you'll get that. And then here are all of our contact details. So we have our website, marketingbyemma.com, which that's the easiest way to remember it. And if you go there, you'll find all of these other details. We also just recently launched our own YouTube channel. So far we're only 2 videos in, but looking forward to creating all sorts of content and really excited about what we're doing there. So if you just search Marketing by Emma on YouTube, you should hopefully find us. Although I've done a lot of videos that aren't on my channel. So it may take a tiny bit of digging.
Very nice. So yeah, good luck with your own YouTube channel. And of course, we are hoping to see you soon again here. So thanks a lot and wish you good luck.
Thank you. Bye.
I hope this video helped you to understand how to use long tail keywords in your product listings. And if you need help with writing a professional Amazon product listing copy, find the link below in the description. And contact Emma, so they will find the link of Emma's website. So contact her if you need help. And when doing so, don't forget to mention Orange Klik. And now I would like to invite you to watch other video with Emma, where she shares tips how to instantly boost your Amazon listing conversion rates. So if you want to make more sales, more conversions, check this video.